Hi, I'm Jackie Diggins with Covenant Life Coaching, and I'm on chapter 14. Have been going through this covered book with you, my covered book, um, Living in Triumph while Going Through Trials. And we're on chapter 14, and I'll be doing one more video on the conclusion. But I do on the YouTube channel, Jackie Diggins, I have a video study guide. So grab my book, grab the study guide that goes with it, and then I have videos on YouTube that you can watch and follow along as you go through chapter by chapter. You could even use them with a group, use them for your own personal growth. But I encourage you, grab this. It's on Amazon. It would make a great gift this holiday season. So let's hop into chapter 14. This chapter is called Become a Covenant Life Coach. So I'll share a little story with you. So I went to 2 years of Bible school. I graduated the same month that COVID hit. And I had been asking God what he wanted me to do next. Okay. And I had this vision, and this was so powerful in my life. My husband was out of town working, and he was gone more than he was home for a year and a half. And I remember one night, it had been super busy. My kids were new to the public school system. We were running from different activities. I was in Bible school. My husband was gone a lot. And I still had 7 kids at home. And I just remember sitting on my floor. I didn't know when my husband would come back home with his work. It just felt uncomfortable. And I sat down on the ground and I was like, God, I feel like I have nothing physical to hold on to anymore. And he gave me a vision of a dock that was rocking with the water, with the waves of the water. And I saw myself on it, and I felt like I was going to fall. And when I said, I feel like I have nothing physical to hold on to anymore, he was like, that's exactly where I want you. And I was like, oh, okay. And he said, and now I'm going to ask you to step off of the dock and onto the water. And in this vision, I looked around and I was like, well, either I'm going to fall here where I'm at, like I felt like I was going to fall off this dock, or I can obey and step off. And I chose obedience, and I stepped off the dock in this vision, and it felt firmer there. And I knew it was because I was on the rock, my firm foundation, living in Christ, not holding on to the things of the world. When we try to hold on to the things of the world, or have one step in the world and one step with God, we feel unstable. And so that was the place that I was at of going all in with God. And I just remember, wow, it's a lot more secure here. It's a lot more solid of a feeling. And that's what I did. And God showed me, I don't want you holding on to things of this world. I want you to be trusting in me. And I have this verse here, Matthew 14:29. And he said, this is Jesus said, come. So Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water and came toward Jesus. And as we keep our eyes on Jesus, then we stay afloat. Then we stay secure and moving forward with him, even when we're on some ground that feels like we could sink in it. We won't, because our eyes are fixed on him, the author and perfecter of our faith. And so that was what that picture looked like. And that was actually what was going on in my life. God was saying, trust me all the way. I'm taking you to the next step. So as I'm asking God about what he wants me to do next, as I finish Bible school, COVID hit. And so then all my kids came home again, as all kids pretty much came home. And I was homeschooling again, so I thought, okay, this is what I'm doing. And we just had a month or probably 2 months more of school left. So I just faithfully stepped back into doing what I needed to with my kids during the day. And then God brought up to me coaching, becoming a Covenant Life coach. And I had never heard of it before. I didn't know anything about it. And so as I stepped toward it, and then I found out what it would cost for me to take this class, and I was like, God, I don't need to do that. It was over $10,000. And we had been raising 10 children. It had been very tight, uncomfortable for a while that way. And, but I had also seen God show up and do a lot by faith, like as I believed him. And so, I knew it would work if that's what God wanted me to do. So at that point, I stepped away from the coaching because I was like, God, I don't need to do that. I can hold another Bible study. I can work at Walmart. I can work in the school system. I can do something. I don't need to do that. And I stepped away from it for a week. And during that time, I felt like I didn't have vision. Like it felt very like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. And when I stepped back toward the coaching, then it's like peace came and just, this is the route. And so my husband and I decided this was the step that I needed to take. And he showed us how to do it. And our lives haven't been the same. So I want to encourage you, if you're in a spot where you're like, okay, God's calling me to the next thing, but it's really uncomfortable and it might cost a lot of money, or it just might be another step of faith, a step to go and to follow him in and not just rely on your own understanding. And so I wanted to read this verse. Let me find it here. For where your treasure is, there your heart, your wishes, your desires, that on which your life centers will be also. Okay, so where your treasure is, there your heart, your wishes, your desires, that on which your life centers will be also. Matthew 6:21. And so actually what I did was, as I stepped toward coaching again, I first put in, I think it was $1,500 that I could get back if I decided not to do the class. And so I put that in. I had a meeting with the owner, or, the person in charge. And that was my step back toward it after I was like, I have got to look more into this. And it turned out that she was like, did you read the manual about the cost and all that? And I'm like, no, I didn't know anything about it. And so she said, well, go check it out and then let me know what you decide. And that's when I was like, this does not, I can't do this, But after stepping away, I knew, I'm like, no, God's saying this. And I told my husband, I have to do this. It was about obedience. It wasn't about whether, I need to go be a coach or whatever. It was about obeying God in that space. And so, and since then, I've written 4 books I have published, and I've been in a speaking group and a couple other inner circles with amazing people. And so don't think that God can't do the next thing for you. I mean, I didn't realize that step of obedience was going to unlock all the things with my books, with other businesses that we have started. And God has just done so much. And it's all been by faith and doing it the way He wanted us to do it. So, in that same time as I got into coaching, then God called us to buy properties and then more properties, And so, over a year or two, we bought 4 different bigger properties. And God was calling us into real estate and into rentals, but we could have said no to it. It wasn't easy. It was by faith. It was like, okay, God, we will say yes. You show us how we're doing this. And it didn't have to be all done by like our natural thinking. That didn't work. It was like, okay, God, how are we doing this? And we used some inheritance money. We used some and investors. We used money that we made after we said yes, that we would buy it. Then we made the money in one of our businesses that then we were able to purchase that. And what I wanted to share as I shared about that verse about where your treasure is, there your heart is also. Our treasure is in obedience. Our treasure has been in following God when it didn't make sense and when we really didn't have the money to do the things God called us to. And so it's been amazing to watch. And it's been just eye-opening how God directs and guides us. And if we'll just say yes, He will show us the next thing and show us how to do the things. And we have learned in this time as well to not lean on our own understanding, but in all of our ways acknowledge Him, and He will make our path straight. And then just letting go of money and trusting God, because we can't have two masters. A lot of times we'll let our checkbook dictate what we're doing when God's saying, no, you say yes to this thing, and then I will bring the provision to you. And there was times when we just had to, we had to empty our pantry, or we had to clean out the fridge. And some of those times were uncomfortable, but you know what? I've been there so much that I don't care. I'm like, I know God's going to supply for us. I mean, the word tells us in the Psalms that I've never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging bread. And so I knew by the word that this was going to turn out. And so anyway, I just am so encouraged by what God has done in just saying yes to something that didn't make sense. And even saying yes to a large family. I mean, we didn't have the money. We didn't know how we were going to take care of every one of the children coming along. We didn't have a bank account that was like, oh, we have enough to raise this large family. We took one at a time, and we trusted God, and we kept moving forward even when things were hard. And so I just encourage you in that. And Matthew 7:14 says, but small is the gate, and narrow and difficult to travel is the path that leads the way to everlasting life, and there are few that find it. Okay, we didn't have a bunch of friends along our side when we were taking these steps with God. It was a narrow path. It was a a hard and difficult path, but it's leading to life. And that's what this word says. It leads the way to everlasting life, this narrow path that is difficult to travel. Okay, and sometimes even like we think the path with God is all like lights, and but a lot of times it was just lit up, just the next step. It wasn't like we knew how it was all going to turn out as we went. We just had to trust those next steps. And so I want to just read a couple other verses here. And pray for me that words may be given to me when I open my mouth to proclaim boldly the mystery of the good news of salvation, for which I am an ambassador in chains, praying and proclaiming it, that I may speak boldly and courageously as I should. Okay, and that's our mission, is just, I know I'm an ambassador for Christ, and I desire to speak boldly and courageously as I ought to speak. And in Matthew 6:33 it says, but seek first and most importantly, strive after and aim after his kingdom and his righteousness, his way of doing and being right, the attitude of the character of God, and all these things will be given to you as well. So that's what we were doing, is seeking first his kingdom, not what felt comfortable to us, not what we were like, oh, we want to build this and build that, but God put it in us to have properties for his kingdom. Like the properties that we have are being changed from drugs and like slums into something that is clean and safe and just a nice atmosphere, in the neighborhood. And we're just thankful. We're thankful that God's called us to do that, and we walk with him in that. And so I just want to encourage you again to just trust God with your next steps. God has a plan for you. God has a purpose in your life, and it's more than what you've known. And I encourage you to grab my book, Covered, grab my other 2 books, What If You Believed, What If You Obeyed. They're in my website as well, livingcoveredbyhim.com, livingcoveredbyhim.com. And I want to encourage you, if you want coaching for your staff, your team, I can come and do that and encourage you as you move forward. I also do speaking for conferences and groups and different services and events. And so reach out to me at JackieDiggins@gmail.com. And that's JackieDiggins@gmail.com. And we can get you on the schedule for 2026. I'm filling up my schedule for this new year now. So I encourage you to just reach out and we'll get you on the schedule for that. And thank you for listening. And my books are on Amazon as well, and so you can just go there and find them. They'd be a great gift idea for your family members, friends that want their lives going to the next level this next year. So love you, and I'll talk to you soon and see you on the conclusion here of this covered video study guide. God bless.